I want to respond to the point that the one-child policy is very flexible. Our side think that as long as the policy has restriction, it is not actually considered to a balance between freedom and personal choice. I think if we want to ensure people's freedom to have children, it's through planning, but not forcing them to have only one child. And then for our side, we think that the one-child policy is not a success, but an excuse for the lack of economic development in China. Chinese people believe that the larger the population, the bigger the burden it is to the economy and its resources. So the government decided to control the population in order to ease the pressure. However, things should not be done in this way. The one-child policy has indeed helped to control the increasing rate of the population. But here's the thing, the population is still increasing and will never come to a stop. If we do not do anything to boost our economy and let it stay on the same level as we have now, it will never meet the needs of our people. Therefore, economic development should be the focus of the Chinese government, but not population control, especially when this policy is so barbaric and uncivilized. And I want to point out that the one-child policy is aimed at controlling the population, but its ultimate goal is to alleviate the social and economic problem. And in this case, the one-child policy has not been helpful in boosting our economy or alleviating our economic problem. So I may just say that today's motion, the one-child policy, is not a success. Thank you.
Can we keep things shorter, please? I'm worrying about time.
The negative team said that so far there's a restriction of policy, then the policy will not be successful, and that is totally wrong. By implementing one-child policy, the plan, it is a planning and not for citizens to do anything else, because it really balances the interests of the people's freedom and the long living of China. Because that is what the one-child policy, what a responsible government should do. It tries to balance social stability and individual freedom. If there's no one-child policy, as my previous speaker mentioned, there will be disastrous effects such as food shortage. And secondly, the negative team believes that the one-child policy is uncivilized, but it is wrong. Because it is civilized in the sense that it promotes the responsible parenting of families. In the past, even parents are not so well off. They tend to have their children from 5 to 6. However, children did not receive proper care that they died due to severe sickness and malnutrition. So, by introducing the one-child policy, the number of death infants is greatly reduced. So, it teaches parents to take responsibility of their own child. Thank you.
To respond to the affirmative side, they said that our policy is not successful because we do not allow flexibility. But in fact, what we want to say is that just because it does not have a totally freedom, still there is a restriction. No matter 1 or 2, this is still a restriction, isn't it? So there is no total freedom. So it is not flexible after all. So we think that when abortions still exist, this is not planning already. Because planning are suggesting guidelines. Guidelines is like people can still follow their decisions to have or on the number of their children. So this is not planning, like what the affirmative said. And people, after all, are the foundation of the state. So why can't they follow their decisions after all? And then we think that as time has progressed, education of people increase. So when people are getting civilized, why can't this policy be removed and instead be replaced by a guideline and a planning plus education? when people understand what this policy aims at, they will try to they will try to lower the number of their children instead of for the government to force their parents or force the families to have less children or even to abort their children. Okay, so referring to the result and the impact of the sexual imbalance, such result is far-reaching because when Chinese male of marriageable age excessively outnumber those of female, like by 2020, according to the figures, that the difference reaches 30 to 40 million. So what to do with the surplus male? So should they go abroad to look for wives, or should this be simply ignored? Apart from that, there is an abnormal scarcity of female in China. So because girls of today more valuable and they gradually lose their independence, their vulnerability will increase as well. Socially, there is a higher demand of prostitution, kidnapping, trafficking of girls will also increase. Such impact is destabilizing the social security. According to what you said, sustainable development, it is a triangle of economics, social, and environmental. But in this case, social security is already endangered. So where comes the sustainable development? And lastly, psychological impact does not only occur on girls, but also on all children overall. Because even though there is a high education, it doesn't suggest a better education. Because the number of children decreases, kids today enjoys a lower chance of learning to get along with each other, especially the strategies of communication. So how do we improve their education after all?
In response to the negative side, what you have said before is that one-child policy have no planning. But in fact, this is not true because what you mean is not planning is that the people have to follow the guidelines and then they can choose what they like to do. But actually, one-child policy is really a policy which we need now in China because there are no other policy better than this one. So if we do not implement one-child policy, then the population growth problem will still exist. And this can show that the whole country's interest is more important than one person's interest. And we should consider the whole country's benefit before we consider one person's benefit. And then to conclude, we must emphasize our view that one-child policy was a great success in China because of the success which bring to the three aspects. And one is the social, and the other one is financial, and the third one is environmental. And then the first one, social, is that it can successfully reduce the population growth. That there will not be many people demand for the food and medicines and social welfare. So the problem of food shortage can be alleviated in China, and the social welfare problem can reduce the financial burden of the government as well. And then another social benefit which brings to China is that the children can receive more care from their parents, because in the past, parents with many children, they usually have less care on those elder children. And then after we have implemented the one-child policy, children can receive more care from their parents. And for the financial part is that it can reduce the unemployment rate that because nowadays we have the recession, and then with less people and there will be less competition for jobs in the market, so this can help reduce the unemployment rate. Therefore, our house believes that one-child policy was a great success in China. Thank you.
Thank you.